Elder Scrolls is one of those gigantic, all-encompassing worlds with so much lore and background that would take an extreme amount of work and dedication to represent in a grand-scale strategy game. And well, an amazing modding team has done just that, bringing the world of Tamriel into Crusader Kings 3, in the Elder Kings 2 mod. The devs have gone above and beyond developing a gigantic map that includes all the locations across Tamriel, with the map splitting the primary locations into empires and kingdoms accordingly. The amount of detail they have gone into with implementing each county and kingdom with the relevant flags and houses is just phenomenal. I mean, to see the amount of effort they've put into this, you just need to look at the Imperial City itself, with an awesome model on the map, which is split into its various sections with each fully functioning holdings, with the spectacular white gold tower in the centre. Not only has the Imperial City been modelled on the map, but also an awesome custom throne room has been created with the Ruby Throne added as an artifact. Currently Elder Kings has two start dates, 2E440 and 2E450, based around the chaotic interregnum period where various candidates fought for control over the Empire. Both of these dates come with recommended scenarios based on the main areas of Tamriel, whether you decide you want to focus around Cyrodiil and fight for the Imperial Throne, battle it out in the deserts of Hammerfell, or compete in the frozen north in Skyrim, there is a scenario designed for each. The mod has also added important characters from the Elder Scrolls lore for the relevant start dates. These more notable characters are more fleshed out with backstories and even an info tab giving more detail, and further content like custom decisions. But as usual, this does not stop you from taking control of any other character on the map or even creating your own and carving out a kingdom and making your own story within Tamriel. The devs have added a large number of races from the main games, from various elf species to even Daedra. This mod adds so much species-based content, allowing a variety of playstyles. Whether you're playing a claimant vying for the Ruby Throne, an orc at the bottom of Skyrim trying to reclaim your kingdom, or even a Daedric pirate just wanting to cause some chaos, this mod will never leave you wishing for variety. A ton of new cultural innovations have been added for the various eras. These include new general ones, including stuff like alchemy, or more cultural specific ones. For example, orcs can unlock bear taming, and Urukalic mastersmiths, and Altmar having refined moonstone plate. Many of these allow cultures to have their own unique man-at-arms regiments. For example, orcs being able to recruit orc marauders and bear riders, or more magic-based races being able to recruit sorcerers, which can quickly rip through the walls of your enemies during sieges, which really adds to the uniqueness of playing each. It is also worth noting that most of the cultures and species have unique models for their armies, which further adds to the immersion, so rather than just seeing the default human army, you will actually get to see armies of orcs and elves marching around the map, which is an amazing addition. Elder Kings also adds a few new playable government types. These include Autocracy, which is the most common type across Tamriel. This allows a vassal to have a variety of relationships with their liege, which affects how they will contribute taxes and levies. For example, it can be based on opinion of the ruler, arcana, or fame. Another form of governance is being a pirate. This of course allows raiding, and vassal loyalty is much more based on the amount of loot you are raiding, and you may get challenged if you don't bring enough in. Altmar's Ceremonarchy has also been added, which is much more similar to the usual feudal system that we're used to in CK3, where a vassal directly provides taxes and levies to their overlord. Finally, there is Aerocracy, which is a much more faith-focused government, allowing rulers to hold temple holdings as well as castle holdings. Vassal obligations are also based on faith, with the hostility between their faith and their liege's faith being the factor that controls how much taxes and levies they have to provide. And control growth is also tied to the level of devotion, and crown authority also affects your various religious doctrines. The devs have also gone into an impressive amount of detail implementing the various religions within Tamriel. The tenets of each religion have been implemented using the default tenets from CK3, as well as some custom ones that have been added as well. Religion's doctrines have also been expanded to include a pantheon section which dictates the number of deities worshipped, the pantheon of gods followed, and the status of the missing god. Daedric doctrines have also been added to be able to state which, if any, of the Daedric gods are accepted within the religion. As well, vampirism and lycanthropism have been added to the crime doctrines in order to state the religion's view on them. For religions with a pantheon, you can pick a patron out of the available gods, which will last 5 years, giving you unique bonuses for your character. So you can pick whatever works for you at the time, and in 5 years you can change it. However, in between those 5 years, you have to stick with your appointed god. A new Council of Eight mechanic has been added, which acts to bind together the various independent religions that worship the divine. This consists of the chapels, which are the various de jure empires within Tamriel that worship these divines, and the leader, which usually is the largest among them. Some overall doctrine rules can be set by the council, and if you become the largest chapel in the council, you can make a bid for the leadership. One of my favourite things this mod adds is the magic system, implementing a new arcane arts lifestyle in which the main schools of magic, conjuration, destruction, alteration, illusion and restoration can be learned. Speccing into each of these allows you to unlock new spells which can be extremely useful, whether you're using a conjuration spell to summon some undead to bolster the ranks of your army, or destruction to blast through a wall of a city, or inflict wounds on an enemy. These spells add a large variety of options and flexibility throughout the game. Your ability to cast spells is based on your character's magicka points, which act effectively as mana, with each spell costing a varying amount depending on its power. The mod also adds an extra stat to your characters called Arcana, which influences a character's magicka regeneration, with more Arcana increasing your generation and less decreasing it accordingly. And if the Arcana of a character is too low, they will not be able to go down the arcane arts lifestyle at all. An amazing new spellbook interface has been added which allows you to select various spells you want to cast, and if applicable, the target you wish to cast them on. You can also use this interface to get others to cast spells for you, for example if you have appointed a court mage to the newly added court mage position. A new Magicka House Legacy has also been added, allowing you to make you and your ancestors more magically inclined, giving buffs to Arcana, magic-based man-at-arms, and various other aspects, so you can now finally start your own mage-based dynasty. There are also loads of new traits that have been added that you can start with or pick up along the way, depending on the various decisions and events. Again, talking about this could be another video in itself. One of the most notable of these new traits is vampirism. Whether you see it as a curse or a blessing, this will drastically affect your character, unlocking new decisions to do with satiating your need for blood. The trait alone decreases fertility, piety, prestige and lifestyle experience, but this is a small price to pay for immortality. Well, as long as no one finds out. I couldn't mention vampires without mentioning lycanthropism, which is another secret trait that has been added. From what I've played so far, it currently doesn't look like it adds any extra decisions, however this still gives you an extra opinion buff with certain religions like Hircine's cult, and disadvantages with others. There are also some new inheritable congenital traits, for example, acute and etheric, which increases the arcana of your character, so wizard eugenics is definitely a thing if that's something you're into. So that's been a brief overview of the massive Elder Kings 2 mod. I've had an absolute blast playing this. As I've said, each of these topics could probably be a video in themselves, so if that's something you're interested in, let me know and I'll do a deeper dive. This mod is already available, so feel free to go check it out, I'll link it below. Just try not to become too much of a skooma addict, and I'll catch you on the next one, guys.